Hi everyone, my name is Tori, this is Noah Life, and welcome back to my channel. Today I have an unboxing and a book haul to share with you. So I wasn't going to do a book haul until way later in June after I come back from a book signing. I bought a bunch of books. So I thought it'd be good to start June with a book haul, just to show you all of the books that I have to share with you. I have almost 30 books to share with you, and I'm really excited. I got some really fun special editions, all of that stuff. But before we dive into the book haul, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, and that is Book of the Month. So Book of the Month reached out to me and was like, we want to send you a couple of our books to feature on your channel. And I thought that was really, really cool because I've actually never tried Book of the Month. Book of the Month is like a really fast growing service for readers that I've been hearing a lot about. I just never took the plunge and tried. So seeing these two books that they sent me, I'm really excited that I'm going to subscribe because they're really solid hardbacks that you get. And I actually really enjoyed the authors that they featured for June. I looked up each book before I picked the ones. Now, if you don't know this, while I am a huge romance reader, I also am a huge historical fiction reader, and I never keep up with new historical fiction releases. So I think for Book of the Month, I'm going to use it more so for the historical fiction picks that they have, because they really go through hundreds of titles and narrow down the good ones that they want to feature. And I know sometimes with book box subscriptions that sometimes you can't skip, there are some other book boxes that you can't skip more than once. But with Book of the Month, you can skip and it's completely risk-free. You just don't pay, you just skip and you don't lose your subscription, which I thought was cool, considering that these books are really good, pretty covers with the hardcover inside. Now, of course, they have the Book of the Month little token on the front, and I don't mind that. I actually like seeing the Book of the Month thing because it makes it feel like a special edition. I don't know, that's just me. And it says the Book of the Month and the year stamped on the hardback, which I thought was really cool. If you like to collect things like that, I thought that was really cool. So I got this one. This is Lady Tan's Circle of Women by Lisa C. And I picked this. There was two historical fiction books. There was a thriller. I don't do thrillers, but if you like thrillers, go ahead. I just don't do thrillers. I just liked how this was a good blend of kind of a women's fiction book, but also with a little bit of a historical fiction aspect. I don't know, I found when I read the blurb, I found it really, really interesting. So I wanted to try this one out. Now, while I am a big romance reader as well, I have heard a lot about Ellen Hillebrand. So I got the 5-Star Weekend because I thought this would be a really good book to bring with me on vacation, if I go to the beach or something. What got me was the 5-Star Weekend is a surprising and captivating story about friendship, love, and self-discovery on Nantucket. So I thought this would be just a really cute summery read for me. So that's really why I picked this one up. I'm actually really excited to read these two. Right now, you can get your first Book of the Month box for only $9.99 if you use the code SPLASH, which is right here, and I'll have the link and the code in the description box below so you can check it out and browse their June picks. They have some really good ones. Like I said, there's a thriller, I think there's another historical fiction, and then these two. So definitely check it out. Scroll and see what you find. Use the code SPLASH. But thank you, Book of the Month, for sponsoring this video. I'm really excited to get to these two books. Now, let's go ahead and jump into the book haul because I have a decent amount of books to share with you. So I'm going to start with some of my random pickups. These are in no particular order. I'm just picking them up and showing them to you and telling you when I got them and why I got them, okay? So the first book is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. This was a new release in the last month, and I bought this at Barnes, and I got this early. It was out at Barnes & Noble pretty early, but it has the sprayed edges. I've already read this. If you're a patron of mine, you have already seen my exclusive reading vlog where I sat down for 2 whole days and dived into this book, and I absolutely adored it. So yeah, if you join my Patreon, it's always in the description box below. You can find that video and you can watch it now. But spoiler alert, I gave this book 5 stars. Absolutely fucking loved it. Fantastic. Such great fantasy that you just dive in and you get lost in the book. And that's really what I wanted. Now, when I do book hauls, I automatically put books that I buy up on my shelf. So I don't necessarily remember if I've showed you these books before. And I think I may have put Offsides in a previous book haul, but I can't remember. But anyway, I'm gonna haul it now too because I can't remember if I showed you. But I got Offside by Avery Keelan. I got this from Jess as a little gift. She sent it my way. Shut Out, which is the second book to this series, is coming out really, really soon. By the time you see this video, I think it's already out, and I'm super excited for that book. Super excited because I love Avery Keelan's writing. So yeah, definitely read Offside and then jump into Shutout if you want. I just think these are great hockey romances, especially this one. It's more friends to lovers, which is one of my favorites. I did go to my local independent bookstore for Independent Bookstore Day, and I picked up Twin Crowns by Catherine Doyle and Catherine Weber. So this is a YA fantasy, and I picked this up because it sounded really, really good. Also, Sarah J. Maas blurbed it. That's really what got me. I do have the audio from Hoopla, so I'm really excited to read along with this. I just read the blurb and I thought it was really cute. I like to grow my YA fantasy collection just a little bit, so when I am in the mood for a little bit lighter of a fantasy, I can go to my bookshelves and pick one up and just, have options there. Another traditionally published book that I got was Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. Spoiler alert, I gave this book 5 stars too. This book was so good, and if you have anxiety, this book is going to really, really change your life. I feel like you're gonna, even if you don't have anxiety, it opens up the world to show people who don't have anxiety or don't have someone in their life that has anxiety, what it's like to deal with, how it's like every second is something. Do you know what I mean? And then sometimes it's totally fine. You know what I mean? And how it is being in a relationship with someone that has anxiety. And I don't know, there is trigger warnings for chronic illness in here. Our female character's brother is going through a really harsh kidney disease. And so he's looking for a kidney, someone to donate him a kidney to help with this disease. So there's a lot of talk of that right off the bat. So I just want to throw that out there for anyone who has that as a trigger. Just know that going in so you're not surprised by it. But yeah, Abby Jimenez, this is probably one of my favorite Abby Jimenez books that I've read, and I cannot wait for her to sign this at Book Bonanza. I'm super excited. I can't remember if I've already hauled this, but I'm going to show you this anyway, and that's Liz's Road Trip by Bernadette Marie. So the publisher reached out and asked if I wanted this, and this was also another really cool summery romance. Liz goes on a cross-country road trip, and I thought it would just be really cute to read for the summer on vacation. So that's pretty much why I chose that one to be sent to me. But the next one I have is Echoes of You by Catherine Cowles. Catherine Cowles sent me this as a PR package. I did read the advanced listener copy of Echoes of You. I always usually listen, and then I will go back and highlight some of my favorite parts. And I haven't dived in to actually highlight those parts, but I cannot wait to reread this one because, oh my God, Nash and Maddie are so amazing. This book. I loved this book. I still say Shattered Sea by Catherine Cowles will probably be one of my all-time favorite books by her, but this one is really up there with Hidden Waters and Fractured Sky. Those are some of my second favorites, and this one's up there because I just really loved the childhood friends to lovers, but when they're older, I really loved it. Really, really loved it. Now, some of these books I did get at Wild and Windy book signing, and I already have a Patreon exclusive video where I vlogged that weekend and I showed you the books I got, but I'm going to haul those books in this video as well. So the first one I picked up was Under the Stars by Laura Pavlov. This is the second book in this series, in the Cottonwood Cove series. Now, I did read the first book before going to Wild and Windy, but she didn't have the people covers of the first book, and I was like, I like the people covers more than the discreet covers, but this she had out early. I haven't read this yet. It was a new release, but I do hope to get to this one. This one I think is Friends to Lovers. Oh no, it's an assistant with a boss, and he's a really, really grumpy, and I think she's sunshiny, so grumpy sunshine type thing. I've heard good things about this book, but I cannot wait to dive in. I just am liking this series by Laura Pavlov more than some of her other ones, so I'm excited to dive back into this series. I also picked up One Look by Lena Hendricks. I have read this book and I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed this single dad romance. The beginning was a little slow. It took me a little bit to get into, but after that, it really, really takes off with the romance, and I love how protective he is, but he's like, I don't know why I'm so protective of her, but I want her in my bed, and I love that. I love that back and forth, and I don't know, I really like this cover. I like this cover more than the discreet cover, so I wanted to buy this one from her, and I'm glad I did. Another book that I got from Wild and Windy was Power by Cassandra Robbins. I did put this on my June TBR already, so I look forward to reading this month. I've heard it's more of a taboo because it's her mother's fiance. I mean, come on, what the heck? I do know the second book, Rule, just came out, so I think it follows his brother. I think they're brothers, yeah. So I'm excited to read this one in June and then pick up Rule if I really, really like this one, but I'm excited to see the taboo goodness that Cassandra Robbins writes in that book. The absolute amazing, most beautiful person in the world, Cubie Tyler. So she was at Wild and Windy, and I said, do you have any of your special editions? Because I want to buy them, and so does McKay. McKay from Oh Hey It's McKay, because she couldn't come. I was like, I'm going to buy her one too. Well, she was like, no, I don't have any special editions with me, but I can just send you some. What the heck? So she sent me Unconditional, this beautiful Hella Lovely box edition. I'm pretty sure this is the Hella Lovely box. Let me see. Yeah. This is a Hello Lovely box, and I think this book came out before I even read Unconditional, but Unconditional is like up there in my top 5 Cubie Tyler books. So I know that's like one of her ones that not everyone absolutely loves, but I personally really loved it. I have the discreet hardback that she offered on like Amazon, and I'm so glad to have this one. She also sent me the dark and quirky edition of Love Unexpected, which this is another book. I gave this one 4 stars when I read it. And I don't know, I love the inside too. It's like beachy with water. I don't know. This is like the perfect summer book. So if you're looking for a taboo, spicy good time, read this one. But yeah, I'm just so grateful that Cubie Tyler just sent me those my way because I absolutely love her. And then I did pick up this version of Tempt, the discreet cover of Tempt by Melanie Harlow. I do have the Hello Lovely box exclusive edition that I hauled previously. That was a Trope of the Month special edition cover. And this is just the discreet cover that Melanie Harlow offers, but I really love this book and I love this cover with the flowers. I thought it was really elegant and simple. So I wanted to have, you know, both covers because why not? The next 2 books I picked up at Wild and Windy were from Willow Astor. So I picked up Unforgettable and Autumn Nights. These 2 were just really pretty. I've heard really good things about these books and I wanted to dive into this author and see if her writing is for me. So I do know these both are small town and I'm not mad about that. I'm not mad that they're small town, but when I am feeling the small town, I can come to my shelves and pick up one of these books. Sometimes I do like to just fill up my shelves with books that I absolutely loved and I've already read and I just want a physical copy. Or I just want to put some books on my shelves that when I'm feeling a certain type of genre, I can just go and pick it up and start that book and I don't have to like go shopping for a book, you know what I mean? But I like to do that with fantasy as well. And so I picked up Bewitched by Laura Thalassa when this recently came out, I think in April or May or something like that. But I am really sad that I picked this up before reading it because I've heard not the best things about this book. So I'm really nervous to dive into it. This was on my May TBR, I think, and I just never got to it. So I don't know when, if ever, I'm going to pick this up. Because I just heard not so great things. So the next book I picked up at Wild and Windy was Salt in the Wound by Sierra Simone. This is also on my June TBR. I do hope to get to it. It is a prequel novella to her book Salt Kisses that comes out in September. It's a Tristan and Isolde retelling, and this is just the prequel to it. So at Wild and Windy, you could have her sign books, and she was giving away free copies of this. She does that usually at book signings. She will have like a free novella or a free something, and this just so happens to be the one because she has that book coming out. Now, I was sent The Bachelor by Marnie Mann. This is also on my June TBR. I'm making my way through the series, the first 4 books in the Dalton Brothers series because my Hoopla has them and they're relatively short. They're like 6 or 7 hours each. But Valentine PR sent this one my way, so thank you so much to them. I'm excited to get to them because these are just like billionaires spending lots of money, and those are just my type of things, you know what I mean? My Trope of the Month box came in for May, and that is Blind Pass by Tegan Hunter. I think this is the 2nd book in this series, and it's hockey. That's all I know, and I'm excited to get to it at some point, just because I love hockey. The next book I picked up at Wild and Windy was this new release, I'll Always Be With You by Monica Murphy. So this is the 4th book in the Lancaster Prep series, I think. And it was actually just so cool to be back in the Lancaster Prep world because I personally really, really love them. That's just me. I love A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime. And I will say when I read this book, I was a little bit underwhelmed. I gave it 3.5 stars, I think. It's not quite up there with some of her other books in that series, specifically A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime. But I think I only have one more book to read in this series, and I've completely read all of them. I'm thinking, because I've read the 1st book, the 2nd book is A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime. I haven't read the 3rd book, and this is the 4th book. Yeah, so I only have one more book to read, so I want to get just caught up with that series so I can really pick out the ones that I absolutely love and would recommend to you guys. Now, I did go a little crazy with C.E. Ricky. I bought 4 books by C.E. Ricky. Well, I pre-ordered 3, and I bought one at her table. So Don't You Dare by C.E. Ricky is on my June TBR, and I picked this up because I like this cover of him smoking. This is a friends to lovers. It's like a best friend's friends to lovers. She writes romances, so they're all MM. And yeah, I just heard great things about this one. Also, this is one of her books that are on audio. So there is the Audible, I think it's on Audible, that I hope to read, so I don't have to read the special edition. I mean, I don't mind reading special editions, but I've been getting through books quicker if they're on audio. So the next book I picked up was Head Above Water by C.E. Ricky. So I think this one is definitely a lot more emotional. Something about him being my anchor. I don't know anything about this book. I personally am someone who really enjoys C.E. Ricky's writing, and their writing isn't going to be for everyone. I'm going to be 100% honest. It's not going to be for everyone, but there's certain authors that just hit me differently. So when I can see them in person and get some of their special edition books signed specifically to me at book signings, I will do that, and that's what I did. So I do hope to read this one. I don't think there's an audio for this one, but I put this one on the back burner just because I heard it is a little bit more emotional. Yeah, I'm excited for this one. Of course, I had to get Iced Out by C.E. Ricky because I love this hockey romance. It's an MM hockey romance. They play on the same team, but they've been rivals their entire life. So they're now playing on the same college team, and they are bickering and bantering, and then they have like a one night, and then magically they win their games that they have been losing, and they're like, we need to keep this going because they're very superstitious. So they keep having those fun times, and I personally really enjoy this. I read this at the beginning of the year, I think, or maybe it was the end of last year. I don't know when the hell I read it, but I loved this. I had such a great time with it. And then the big one that I bought from C.E. Ricky was actually a bind up, and that is River of Rain, the complete duet by C.E. Ricky. So this has Follow the River, After Rain Falls, and the little novella, which is Rivain? I think it's Rivain. All of her books are on Kindle Unlimited. You don't have to have physical copies of them at all. But I have read Follow the River, which is the first book in this duet. Super emotional, ends on a cliffhanger, and for some reason I just haven't continued. Instead of buying each individual book, I think it was like 15 and 15, and then the novella was 10, or maybe it was 20 and 20, and then the novella was 10, so that would have been $50. This bind up was $30. So I figured I'd have this special edition bind up that I don't think she sells this on Amazon. It could be on her website that you could probably get to, but I fell in love with River and Rain, which it's an MM romance, and both guys, one's named River, one's named Rain. I don't know. I just really loved this, and it's super emotional. Like I said, C.E. Ricky's writing is just for me, and I personally love it, so I want to grow my collection. And the last book that I picked up at Wild and Windy was Highest Bidder by Sarah Kate. I did read this book, and it's not my favorite in the series. I gave it 3.5 stars. I feel like it has set the bar high for me. I love that book. That is one of my all-time favorite kind of like spicy taboo books, but this is a really good time. I had a really good time with it. But I felt like the plot wasn't as strong as some of her other books. That's the reason why I gave it 3.5 stars, but it was still a really good time. I read it in like 2 days, and I mean, come on. Ronan is like daddy AF, literally. But those are all of the books that I have to share with you for a book haul. I want to once again thank Book of the Month for sponsoring this video. Make sure you use the code SPLASH to get your first little Book of the Month box for only $9.99. And they have really good selections, so I think everyone should check it out. Make sure you click the link in the description box below. For the emoji for today's video, drop me a blue heart because the Book of the Month box was blue. They have their signature blue Book of the Month boxes, so drop me blue hearts. Fill the comments with blue hearts if you made it this far. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe for more content for me. As always, I hope you're living a novel life, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.